What's up, everyone? Tera Roberts and Howard Bender here for your Thursday night pregame show. It is week 16. We are trucking along here, and we are previewing tonight's game between the New York Jets and the Jacksonville Jaguars. And it's going to be a crazy game. It is going to be a crazy weather game. This is going to be a very interesting. I'm ready to build lineups like whenever you are, Howard, because this is going to be so interesting to see how we're going to approach this one. This one's going to be fun. Like, this is a fun, interesting kind of night because there are so many different ways that this can go. And guys, we are taking your questions live, of course, in the Fantasy Alarm Discord. So jump in there, get your start sit questions in there right now in the live stream Q&A section. Get them in there. Start sit questions, rest of season questions, I guess like rest of next week's season questions, any off season questions you got, DFS questions, all that good stuff. We are taking them live, so get in there right now. And Howard, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Recovering from just a bonkers week 15. And now, the whole schedule's thrown off because it's like the 10-game slate is on Saturday and the 3-game slate on Sunday. But yeah, I was getting ready. I'm psyched. I get to watch my Jets tonight. I'll probably be, chilling in the family room in the Fantasy Alarm Discord during that game, unless I break my TV and my phone or something like that happens out of frustration. How worried are you about the rain tonight? Because, it's supposed to be steady, but are we looking at, is it like torrential downpours the entire time? Or are we going to, at some point, is it going to kind of ease up and we're going to get to see some passing going on?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too. I was sitting there and I was Googling. I was trying to get into the hour by hour, trying to figure out what we could expect, because there are a lot of decisions that I feel like I can't make until we get, like, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes out from the game so that we can really maybe hone in on what's happening there, get an actual visual of it and kind of try and wrap our minds around it.
Yeah, it's going to be, very, very interesting. I've got a Mike from Long Island. He hits me up on Twitter all the time. He's out there on the island. He's not 100% sure about MetLife. He's like, but it's coming down really, really hard down there. And that's about half an hour ago is what he's talking about. So yeah, this one's going to be interesting. It just makes you want to throw defenses into your captain seat, doesn't it?
It does, Tera? Yeah. But I'm struggling with which defense, because it could go either way. They're both probably. We've seen Trevor Lawrence. Now, granted, I love Trevor. I think, he's obviously on an upswing under normal conditions. I'm not worried, but we've seen him fumble the ball upwards of 3 times in a game. So, that could happen. And Zach Wilson, we all know what's going on, and the potential for
do we know what's going on with Zach? I don't know if we do.
The defensive upside with Zach Wilson. So I feel like you could go either way. You could go with the traditional Jets, and then from that perspective, you could also look at it and say, if the rain isn't that bad, do I really want to go with the Jets defense, knowing the kind of trend that Trevor Lawrence has been on recently? Or do I want to go the other direction and try to, tap into the Jags defense that is extremely vulnerable, but playing Zach Wilson could have an upswing too. So, who do you prefer? If we were doing defenses and captains, and I did make one, I went ahead because I got excited because this is like a cool slate. So, it's a cool showdown. So which defense are you looking at in your captain spot?
I said to put the Jets into the captain spot. I get what Trevor Lawrence is doing, and I think it's rock solid. But the Jaguars have 18 giveaways, this season, which ranks up there. It's not an abomination, but it's problematic. Now they've softened a little bit on that during this really nice run that they're on. And yeah, Zach Wilson has been atrocious. The thing about it is, for me, I kind of feel like Robert Saleh is going to keep the ball out of Zach Wilson's hands as much as possible. I think he's going to want to run the ball a lot. You've got, Zonovan Knight with or without a bum ankle, and then you've got Michael Carter and you've got Ty Johnson. These guys can all get mixed in there. If you limit Zach Wilson's throwing, then you're limiting the opportunities to score. So or to create a turnover. So for that reason, I think that Trevor. I don't think Trevor Lawrence. I don't think the rain's going to bother him in the sense that he's going to be like, I'm going to throw the ball. I feel comfortable throwing the ball. I've got Travis Etienne. Sure, Michael Hasty is there in the backfield too if I need him. But I'm cruising, man. I got Kirk. I got Jones. I got Engram. Give me some Jamal Agnew for crying out loud. So I think that just enables Trevor Lawrence to take more chances and maybe that ends up a little bit more not on the careless side, but just in the sense that it's just more opportunities for the Jets to turn them over.
I think that makes sense. From a pass catcher perspective, we'll start with the easy one. Are you interested in Garrett Wilson?
Well, I better be because I got to use him. I got to use him in what is without a doubt the grossest semifinal playoff team you could possibly have. So if I don't start Garrett Wilson, then my options are, if I don't use him, I could go with, Chuba Hubbard in the flex. You know what? Why don't I just do this? Why don't I use Tera to set this lineup? Gosh. How about that, people? Here you go. Right. I'm going to, you know what? This is going to, now this is going to be a fun exercise. This is going to be absolutely awesome. I got to dismiss everybody. Come on, swap these guys out. Let's just take these guys out. Come on, don't make this difficult for me, RT Sports. All right, here you go. At quarterback, I can either take a chance that Lamar Jackson starts or I can add Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, I'm going with Gardner. I'm not believing that. Yeah. I've already plugged Gardner into my starting lineup in at least one place. So that is the way that I am rolling for these quarterbacks who unfortunately are going to be out or doubtful.
Other options might be Davis Mills, Mac Jones, Kenny Pickett, Taylor Heineke, Nick Foles. Any of those? Would you start any of those over Gardner Minshew?
No, I'm going with Gardner Minshew. Some of those are interesting to me, but I feel like Gardner is the safer option there. This is crazy. He comes in, Minshew mania. It'll be all right. It may not have massive upside, but I don't think that he's going to absolutely blank you. How can you do that with A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert coming back? It's just he's surrounded. So I would prefer to go that direction than a Davis Mills, who I kind of like, but isn't surrounded by the same level of talent in a better matchup.
Agreed on that front. Okay, so so Gardner Minshew is my QB. Josh Jacobs, he stays there as my running back. Beautiful. RB2 can be either Zach Moss, Tyler Algier, Deion Jackson, Chuba Hubbard. So either Colts running back or Chuba Hubbard, which against Detroit, not a bad matchup there.
They've been
or Tyler Algier against the Ravens.
They've been on a roll against the run. Shut down Zonovan Knight last week. They've those Lions. I don't know. I'm feeling mildly uncomfortable. Like I was looking at Donta Foreman today, and I just was like, I'm feeling uncomfortable with it. I don't like the matchup. I am kind of leaning on the Deion Jackson side a little bit now, which is funny because Zach Moss was my number one waiver wire pick of the week, but that was prior to Nick Foles, who I think if we're going to get any Nick Foles checkdowns, I don't think it's going to go to Zach Moss. So it's making me lean a little bit more towards Deion Jackson as someone who I can kind of get on board with.
Interesting.
It's risky. It is risky. But I feel like they're both going to play. And I lean towards Deion Jackson as long as it's PPR.
Yeah, listen, I'm back and forth here. Like, that's the $1 million question. Did Zach Moss get all that work because they were just trying to run the clock out? Like really, like where were we at with the split between the two? And I'm kind of torn on both of them as well. So it will be a Colts running back, either Zach Moss or Deion Jackson as my RB2.
Yes.
But we'll say Deion right now because Tara's setting my lineup for me. All right, I need 3 wide receivers out of this group. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
I don't think you are ready. I definitely don't think you're ready, but we're going to try it anyway. You got pen and paper?
Never. I'm never prepared the way that I should be. I think someone walks in here and steals my pens because I bring them in and they just take them away. All right.
They think it's
We're
candy.
typing. Exactly.
All
We're
right,
typing.
so here,
We got this.
Just focus with me then. Here you go. Garrett Wilson, Mike Williams, Demarcus Robinson, Isaiah Hodgins. Oh, and I'm sorry. And Mac Hollins.
Mac Hollins. Oh, Mac Hollins.
So Garrett Wilson, I feel like Garrett Wilson and Mike Williams kind of have to be a lock.
100%. And then I don't.
Go ahead. No. Say it. Say what you were going to say. Open it up. This is a safe space. You're in the trust tree. You're in the nest. Here we are. We're just hanging out. No judgments. What were you thinking?
I don't mind Demarcus Robinson to get you a solid 12.
And I am 100% with you on that. I am 100% with you on that. Yes. Right? I mean, it's him and Mark Andrews. Yeah. Who else is going to catch the ball?
That's it. It's not going to it's not going to the running backs. It's not going to that is it. Unless we are bringing Sammy Watkins into the fold. Well, he doesn't have to learn a new offense. He can just get out there right away and just say, like, welcome home.
Oh, Rose. So grimy. All right, so here we go. We've got Gardner Minshew, Josh Jacobs, Deion Jackson, Garrett Wilson, Demarcus Robinson, and Mike Williams. Yes. My tight end is Travis Kelce.
Solid.
Thank you very much. Now for my flex spot. The aforementioned Mac Hollins, Isaiah Hodgins, Zach Moss, Chuba Hubbard, Tyler Algier.
Oh, man. You don't want to double up at Indianapolis running backs. I mean, I feel like that's like you got to pick and choose.
Yeah. You got to make your bed. You got to lie in it.
I think I would go with Hodgins. I think, it's a good matchup.
You like Hodgins over Hollins?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. I'm a little bit worried about Derek Carr. And we're seeing, Waller's getting back into the swing of things. He came in there, got the touchdown. Yeah, I can get on board with Hodgins.
Okay. Beautiful. Hodgins it is. And so my kicker, I already went out and did the smart thing that you're supposed to do now and stream. If you're streaming kickers, you might as well go with the guy who's kicking against Minnesota, who's given up the most field goal opportunities, or the third most field goal opportunities in the NFL. And it's an indoor game. There's no weather issues. It's in Minnesota. Give me a little Graham Gano. And then the Jets defense. Yeah. That's a semifinal playoff team. I mean, to talk about so I lost Lamar Jackson.
I feel that.
I lost Javonte Williams. I lost Rashad Bateman early on in the season. All right. This is a 14-teamer.
Yikes.
Yeah. And I replaced our good friend Lamar Jackson originally with Ryan Tannehill.
Oh no.
Yeah. Hence the mustache and jean shorts.
Yes. No, mine wasn't a Lamar Jackson, but I kind of went a similar direction of just tumbling quarterbacks that just tumbled through injury after injury after injury. I've gone through Kyler and, well, Jimmy first, but Jimmy, Kyler, Colt McCoy. I mean, just like Stafford. Like, so yes, I'm we now come to you, Gardner Minshew, to take us to the promised land.
Take us to the dear Lord. Take us somewhere, please, please, please. So yeah, so there you go. So that's that's what it's come to for me for the playoffs after week 15 when I was savagely beaten, like bludgeoned. Like I felt like I felt like a baby seal at like like on the ice floe, and just and all the hunters are like in on me there, and they just got me with their clubs, and they're just beating me senseless.
My gosh. Okay.
That's how I feel.
I feel you on that. But you know what? But we're here. We are here.
We are. We are.
Oh man.
So, should we do some questions, some Q&A?
Let's go ahead and do that.
Let's do that. Let's help the peoples. This chat room. I can't believe how full this chat room is already.
We can start off with
couple of regulars in here.
We can start off with Lentil.
Mm-hmm.
Always nice and early with the questions. Hey people, Merry Christmas. Listening in from my holiday party. Oh, fun. Priorities, Yes.
So she's wasted right now, and she's on the dance floor, and then when she like tires out, she's gonna be like, "Oh, let me check my phone," and she's gonna watch us then. So, hi, Lentil.
Yes. Well, I imagine an AirPod, because that's how I roll. It's like I'm going throughout my daily life and just any chaos. Always an AirPod listening to something football related.
You're not worried about somebody sneaking up behind you and attacking you?
Oh no. Cat-like reflexes.
Okay.
I can't.
Cat-like reflexes.
I can't be got.
Like
Full PPR. Need a running back and a flex. ETN, Walker, Brian Robinson, Lazard, James Cook, Pickens, Burks.
Cool.
Moss, Deion Jackson, and Algier are available.
Well, all right. So absolutely atrocious group here. Terrible, but workable here.
Yes, I think so.
So the problem that we have here is that Walker is questionable.
Yeah.
So we don't know if he's actually. I don't think he practiced today. So I think what we're going to have to do is. I feel like we're going to start ETN tonight, even if it's a bad matchup against the Jets. But I feel like he's probably still your best running back option over, partial for Cook or, even partial for Brian Robinson. I don't like this matchup for Robinson either against San Francisco.
That's the problem.
So I feel like ETN is the start here. And then the flex, I mean, to me, it would be Walker if he plays. If he doesn't play, God, I almost want to go George Pickens.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. Because unfortunately, Tannehill, I can't. Is Malik Willis gonna throw the ball?
No,
is he
no.
gonna throw the ball like at all?
Oh, plus they lost 2 linemen today too.
Yeah, so poor Tennessee, I was looking forward to Treylon Burks coming back. Not cool. Yeah, I agree with you. I think you go ahead with ETN. Any other day, I would say go ahead with Robinson, but unfortunately, this is just you don't want to do that matchup. So ETN and then Pickens, I think makes sense to me as well. And then have Purdy starting and Heineke on the bench. Minshew, Foles, Russ, and Huntley are available. Do I stick with Purdy? This is a good question.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it comes down to Purdy and Minshew. Yeah. And I feel like I like Purdy's matchup against Washington a little bit better. Their secondary is their front seven's good, but that's just, that'll work out the, that'll work nicely against the run. So I feel like Purdy could, get a little Ayuk, get a little George Kittle in there, throw something to Jawan Jennings. I think I would stick with Purdy here. I do like Minshew though.
Yeah, it's close.
Who do you like?
I would stick with Purdy. I want to go with Minshew. I mean, Dallas's defense has been exploitable. We've seen that. Um, and if anyone can exploit it, I mean, Minshew mania, of course. But no, we're going to stick with Purdy on this one. I think that is definitely the safer option. Thank
Yeah,
you,
I
Kyle
agree.
Shanahan. Home run. Hello, happy holidays. I have Josh Jacobs, Kamara, Pollard, McKinnon, full PPR. Who sits? Hmm.
Who sits? So one person, Jacobs, Kamara, Pollard, McKinnon. One person has to sit.
This is fun.
Ay, ay, ay.
This is fun.
I mean, I guess if I had to pick somebody, it would be McKinnon.
Mm,
Because Jacobs doesn't split carries, and I'm not
no.
worried about him with his finger. Kamara, this game is going to be it's got to be a lot of running here because we're talking about 30-mile-an-hour sustained winds with gusts up to 40 and 50 miles an hour, plus an inch of snow accumulation expected over the course of the game. So I feel like they have to run the ball. I know that they don't do it a lot, but yeah, I kind of feel. Oh, you know what? Did we miss that? We missed that tight end question there
Oh no.
from Lentil because here was the funny thing. She's got Dulcich, right? But she asked to pick up. She could pick up Taysom Hill, Otten, Conklin, McBride, and hers. I would probably just stick with Dulcich with Russ Wilson coming back. But the Taysom Hill one, that was what I was going to
Yeah.
ask you about. Like that's the intriguing one. If we think that this is going to be a very run centric type of thing, do the Saints try a little misdirection here and, a little, Taysom Hill running, maybe it's a little Alvin Kamara running, that kind of a situation. Um, so would you do Hill or Dulcich for tight end?
So you know that I'm more of the traditional tight end kind of gal, but this is the one instance where I will say Taysom is someone who I'm starting over quite a few of those back end tight end one guys, including Dulcich.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, perfect. So now we're back. So we got
Mm-hmm.
that. We know that Taysteville's going to run. I still think that I like Kamara in this matchup. I mean, Cleveland's run defense is so
It is.
bad.
I felt that way about Kamara last week. I mean, and he didn't have a bad game. It wasn't like statistically from like the rush yards and carries. It was like, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. But what is it getting me? What is it getting me? So
Exactly.
I have such a hard time getting there with Kamara now. I really, really do.
I know.
And even in a deep league right now, I'm gonna go check. I might have pulled him out just because I'm just like, exhausted with it. Um,
I mean, he had over 100 yards from
yeah,
scrimmage. It wasn't, he didn't get into the end zone, and obviously, it's not a, he hasn't
yeah,
delivered. Believe me, I invested in him and the Saints in both DFS and betting last week,
yeah.
and I just, it was
Mm.
bad. It was terrible.
I
But I'm going to say Jacobs, Kamara, and Pollard. I love McKinnon. I do. You still have Pacheco there, and it is a matchup that kind of favors. Like I feel like it'll be a competitive game with Seattle, but I don't know, man. I just feel like you still run that risk. I still
yeah.
feel I don't know Pollard. Yeah. How do you
I'm
sit
in on
Pollard?
Pollard.
Dude's like RB
Yeah.
two, right?
I'm Jacobs, I'm fine. I have no fear of Jacobs. It's like injury. It's okay. Like he'll still get his 100. I've never seen somebody just all his like hit like casually 100 yards. It's just casual with him at this point. So
Mm-hmm.
Jacobs, Pollard, and I'm super on the fence about Kamara and McKinnon. I'll say start Kamara. I don't feel great about it. I don't feel great about it, but it is a good matchup and it is a weird situation where they do have to run the ball. So I can lean that direction.
There we go.
Doesn't make me happy, but I'll lean that way.
Ah, we don't want unhappy
I
Tara. We
know.
want happy
I know.
Tara.
And I want to pull up my lineup. Where did I pull him out of that lineup? Let me look real quick.
Ooh, are we gonna set
Oh,
Tara's playoff lineup now?
I didn't pull him.
Ooh.
I didn't. No. Okay, he's still in there. It's
Well,
it's like
who would you
four flex spots. You
who
got to be like
So who would be your other options?
It would be, I would have to go with, now granted, I do have DeMarcus Robinson, but I wouldn't do that. But it's Ayuk. But what happened with Purdy last week, I couldn't bring myself to do that. So the only other option is Ayuk and Taysom Hill.
Oh,
I'll just stick with Kamara.
just stick with Kamara. Good job.
I wanted to pull him out. I guess my heart was like, no. All right. Question from A Powers 93. PPR need 2 between. This is a fun one. J.K. Dobbins, Miles Sanders, Devin Singletary, Zonovan Knight, Jeff Wilson. Not feeling good that Jeff Wilson's going to play. So that one is not. That one's one I'm staying away from.
I mean, yeah, it's Dobbins and Sanders for me, I think. Especially if you got Gardner Minshew under center, then maybe they run a little bit more. They'll still do the same RPO work that they were doing with Minshew. It's not gonna, matter too much. And then, listen, Dobbins off the injury report now, feeling good. He's been 120 yards in each of these last 2 games.
It's been going good.
It looks good.
I feel good about Dobbins this week, even in PPR.
Yeah. So Dobbins and Sanders, baby, let's go.
Yes. Although I do kind of like Zonovan Knight tonight.
Listen, I'm always a Zonovan fan
for a little bounce back game here.
But
yeah.
But
yes.
But.
Question from Roddy. Happy holidays, FA Nation. Wishing you all the best. PPR need 2 running backs. Jamal Williams. Jamal Full Williams. Swift.
Yeah.
Zonovan Knight. Deion Jackson. Zach Moss. Fortman. So we all just went out and picked up both Deion Jackson and Zach Moss and called it a day and said, we'll figure it out later.
Right? It's the Monday night game. We don't have to make our decision until Monday.
All right. 2 running backs.
I'll go. I mean, in this case here, I'll go with Zonovan Knight, and I'll probably go with DeAndre Swift.
I think so too. I'm feeling Swift in this matchup for a little nice little bounce back here.
Yeah.
Then in another league, half PPR. 2 questions: quarterback question and then wide receiver question. So quarterback question: Purdy, Rodgers, Daniel Jones.
I really like Daniel Jones this week. I really, it's a good matchup. Minnesota their defense has been very problematic. They've been giving up a ton of yards. They've been giving up a ton of points. Their offense is great too, and they can come back and do that. But I mean, for the Colts to be able to put up that many points, in the first half tells you that there's a major problem with their defensive scheme. Yeah. I think you get some good rushing upside from Daniel Jones. And I'm going to pair him and Darius Slayton up for probably my one of my primary DFS lineups.
I like that. Anybody else? Are you triple stacking? Just the double?
I think I'm just going to do the double stack there. I thought about the possibility of throwing Barkley in there too. But I feel like, what I can do is if I just do, the Jones and Slayton, it allows me to get Jefferson coming back. And, if I don't, I could maybe use like Hodgins as like a spend down possibility, or Bellinger even, although I think I want to pay up at tight end this week.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah, I think a 2 stack is fine. I don't think you need to go full 3 stack on the Giants. They're not that great of a team.
Oh.
Well, I hope my wife's not watching.
Yeah. I think that makes sense. I agree with you on Daniel Jones there. And then Chris Moore, George Pickens, DeMarcus Robinson need 1.
I'm going to go with DeMarcus Robinson. I think he's going to get more targets than George Pickens is going to get.
I agree.
I like Pickens. I do.
I agree. I think he will have more targets.
Robinson's going to see more targets.
But I think I'm going with Pickens on that one.
Okay. You're saying Pickens gets into the end zone and DeMarcus doesn't.
Yes, that is where I'm heading.
Okay. Chris Moore, folks, we need to stop chasing stuff like that. I mean, we've talked about this. Do you and I talk about the Chris Moore nightmare?
I don't think we did.
Like, I mean, it just
no, because we
he goes. So he goes and he beats up Dallas because they lose Anthony Brown. So they don't have Jordan Lewis and they don't have Anthony Brown. So they've got Kelvin Joseph, and Chris Moore burns Kelvin Joseph out of the slot all game long. Great move. Everybody going up against, now it's like Kansas City, and they're like, oh, well, they're supposed to throw it heavy now because of the Chiefs and the game script and this and that. And so Chris Moore is going to be great. And I'm like, Chris Moore's going to be like up against L'Jarius Sneed a bunch of this time here, working out of the slot. It's not a great matchup. He's not a great wide receiver. So why do we think, why are we chasing that? I said, if anything, go after who the wide receiver is going to be opposite Kelvin Joseph next week, right? And that was supposed to be Christian Kirk, but they moved Joseph to the outside, and they were like, oh, well, we'll just put him on Zay Jones. And what happened? Zay beat him up for like three. So the Eagles receiver who's going to be opposite Kelvin Joseph the most, that's who you want. You don't want trash like Chris Moore. Yeah. It's bad chalk, people. It's bad chalk.
I like the analysis there. I would like it more if you told me specifically which Eagles receiver. And I cross my fingers that it's AJ Brown.
I mean, listen, I think Brown and Devonta Smith are going to be completely fine. I mean, the only thing that I could see maybe they consider doing is putting them back in the slot. But then I'm dart throwing at Quez Watkins. Yeah. So, I mean, we'll look into it. We'll check it out. We'll see. We'll dive into. We'll talk to some people in Dallas, see if they know. I'll call Jerry Jones.
There we go.
I'll text Jerry.
Good old Jerry. All right. Speaking of Devonta Smith, we got all of Roddy's questions. Yes. So A Powers 93. Need 2, Devonta Smith, Zay Jones, and Michael Pittman.
All right. Well, see, there you go. Need 2. Michael Pittman and Devonta Smith from it.
Same. Love Zay, but sorry. Not against those.
I mean, you're talking about the Jets secondary in the rain.
Yeah.
And you're gonna hit me with, well, Zay Jones, he scored 3 touchdowns last week. You just talked about it.
No. Watch him go off now. No. No. All right. Roddy, PPR League, need running back and flex, AJ Dillon, Najee Slayton, and DeMarcus Robinson.
Najee and Slayton for me. I think Najee gets that, obviously he gets all the work. Not to mention the fact that, how about the Raiders struggling against pass-catching running backs? A couple of checkdowns Najee's way. I think we right several wrongs in fantasy football with that move there. And again, I like Darius Slayton. He's not going to see as many targets as DeMarcus Robinson is, but I think Slayton comes out with, I think he goes into the end zone. I think he picks up good yardage for himself. I'm a fan. I am a fan.
Oh, well, for me, Najee, yes.
I'm going to say AJ Dillon.
I am going to say AJ Dillon.
I'm a Packers homer.
He's on a roll. He's on a roll.
He is on a roll. He is. I just got to do a little war with Eric Hinsky. Remember Eric Hinsky, the former Major League Baseball Rookie of the Year a while ago? So he does a fantasy football draft with like Brad Lidge and Chipper Jones and Tim Hudson. So it's like all these guys from the Braves, but then like splashes of some other players. So we did the broadcast. We broadcast their draft on Sirius XM. And so we had Hinsky on Monday come in and give us like the full playoff update and what's going on. And from there, and so he was talking about how he traded Ezekiel Elliott for AJ Dillon. And I yelled at him for being a homer. And then Dylan goes and he he's serious. So Dylan goes and he scores 2 touchdowns. And I'm like, oh no. I was like, it's so funny because I had, Eric had texted me and I texted him back, but I was like, it was like the first time we're really outside of the show, interacting. So I didn't want to be like, as soon as AJ Dillon scored, I'd be like, oh, damn you, Hinsky. But I thought about it. Eric, if you're watching, I thought about it. You were going to get a text from me. But then he scored the second touchdown, and I was like, man. I mean, now they're just trolling me. So you go AJ Dillon here and what? AJ and Najee?
Yep, that is the combination there. By the way, Howard, I'm a Braves fan. I know, my allegiance of Green Bay has absolutely nothing to do with where I'm from. But if you were in that area, just anywhere near Georgia growing up in the 90s, you were, in fact, a Braves fan. You had to be. So.
Oh. Wow, that's actually pretty cool.
So those names pumped me up.
It's all these all these ex-Braves. Michael Kadyr's in it. I think, Brian McCann's in it.
Oh my gosh.
Dan Ugla he's in this league. Who else? Jeff Jenkins.
That's incredible.
Cool. Very cool stuff.
That is incredible.
They love their fantasy football. $25,000 entry fee. Yeah.
I can afford that. No.
Jim and I were like, we're in next year.
Oh, man. Baseball. All right, I'm going to go sign my kid up. Caliber ratings. I was thinking of starting Jeff Driscoll or kidding, Howard.
Wait, whoa. You missed the other stuff from Ronnie.
Did I miss it?
I got you so sidetracked.
You know what? I'm low on sleep. I keep missing the back end of questions.
Thank you. KC defense, Philly defense, Cincy defense. I don't see why you don't stay with Philly.
Yeah. I agree on that one.
It doesn't matter that Hurts got hurt. Hurts doesn't play defense.
True.
Cowboys offensive line, a little banged up.
I just pivot away from Kansas City. Something doesn't feel right about that one to me.
Oh, I love Geno Smith this week. Him and Metcalf. That's the other pairing I'm doing in DFS.
So I'm pivoting away from Kansas City on that one. So I think Philly as well. I just saw an update come through on Quinnen Williams. Did I miss?
Is he playing tonight?
Oh, no, I didn't. Sorry. No, Quincy Williams. Close.
Yeah, I think he's questionable for tonight. He's a little banged up. I think I might tilt towards DeForest Buckner. Just because that Chargers offensive line, it's not great. They're not opening up these big running lanes for Austin Eckler or any of the guys behind them. Yeah. So I think Buckner would probably be the way I went there. That makes sense.
All right. Caliber Reigns was thinking of starting Jeff Driscoll. Kidding. Although.
Don't although it. Did that work last week? How'd that work out for everybody last week? Jeff Driscoll.
It wasn't that bad. I mean, depends on who you...
What are you talking about? He threw the ball 4 times.
Wasn't it 9?
He didn't even throw the ball.
Fantasy points again?
No. Jeff Driscoll, there's no way he had 9 points this past week.
I thought he did.
Really? Where's Driscoll?
I think so. My computer's too slow to...
Jeff Driscoll. All right, here we go. He was 2 for 4 for 8 yards. And he ran the ball 4 times for 8 yards.
No, I'm just imagining things. Okay, it's time for Tara to shut things down.
Oh, good night, Tara. Good night, Tara. Need a flex in standard league is a Juju, Rashad White, Moss, or Zay Jones.
I just go ahead and stick it out with Juju. I mean,
yeah, I like that. I don't mind Rashad White. I really don't. But I would probably go with Juju. I think this game, like you said too, Seattle with them. I mean, that's going to be a little bit of a back and forth. That's like the game that's 27-24.
Yeah, I think so.
You know.
So I think Juju is fine there.
I dig that.
A Powers 93, Gino or Daniel Jones?
See? There you go. Two of my favorite quarterbacks this week. I'll rank Gino higher than Daniel Jones. Even though I do love Jones's rushing upside and everything that comes along with it. But I'm just, Kenneth Walker now being banged up also kind of, to me, puts maybe the ball into Gino's hands a little bit more.
I think so. I think it makes sense to stick with Gino. Even though I do love the upside for Daniel Jones this week.
We always love upside. Upside's my favorite thing.
Did you want to build some...
Everybody's got
Did you want to build some lineups?
I do. Let me just... Here we go. We're gonna power through these, these YouTube questions here.
Right.
All right. Picking two. Full PPR. Etienne, Hopkins, Montgomery. Leaning both running backs here, but how do you sit DeAndre Hopkins?
Yeah, I lean towards Montgomery for sure, and I'm still on the fence with Etienne. I kind of still want to stick it out with. Etienne does not have pass catching upside right now, and probably not in this game either.
He does not.
So if I'm talking about where Etienne can get me versus the very specific floor that DeAndre Hopkins, floor and ceiling that DeAndre Hopkins has right now, that's similar. I'm going to take DeAndre Hopkins. So I lean DeAndre Hopkins and David Montgomery.
All right. Oh, I love this question. This is probably my favorite question of the night. Shout out to Parker Warren. Pick three. Are you ready? Pollard, Stevenson, Dobbins.
Well,
pick three.
All three. Yeah.
There you go. Perfect answer.
All three of my favorites.
Here we go. Any faith in Kirk and Etienne for tonight? Any faith?
Faith-ish. I don't think it's going to be that bad. I'm all right. I think we'll get to 10 fantasy. I think they're fine flex options.
Fine flex options. I can go with that. Let's see. What's the picks for tonight's game? Well, I took the Jaguars getting 2.5. I was like, I think this game's like 17-16 tonight. It's like a 16-14 game and the last second field goal. So give me the Jags, regardless of which side that they are, whether they win. So that's where I'm at. Full PPR: Zay Jones or Darius Slayton. Slayton for me.
Yeah, Slayton.
Trevor Lawrence or Daniel Jones.
That one hurts. That one hurts. I will say Daniel Jones. You put Daniel Jones in right now when you just peep that warm-ups and try and unless something changes drastically over the next hour, you just go Daniel Jones. Or Trevor.
All right. Or Zach Wilson or Malik Willis?
Zach Wilson.
What a horror show. Deion Jackson or Zonovan Knight? PPR.
I like Zonovan Knight.
I do as well. Would you play Taysom Hill now that they don't have any receivers? Yeah, I hear Olave's out, huh?
Unfortunately, he is out. And Landry on IR. I don't feel like that came out of nowhere. But yeah, Taysom.
He's been such a disappointment all year.
Yeah.
Landry.
The entire Saints team, we're just booting to the moon.
Trevor Lawrence or Tom Brady?
Go ahead and go with Brady. Yeah.
Go ahead and go with Brady. Zeke, pick three. PPR: Zeke, Pacheco, Etienne, and Walker.
Zeke.
Now here's the problem, because if you say Zeke, Pacheco, and Walker, the question is what happens if Walker doesn't play?
I think unfortunately, I mean, you've given those options, so more than likely there's not a good pivot for you. So you probably have to go ahead and go with the first three.
Yeah. Agreed. And finally here, half-point PPR, Zonovan Knight or Tyler Algier?
Zonovan Knight.
I agree. All right, now I'm ready to build some lineups here.
You didn't answer that. You didn't answer that Zach Wilson, Malik Willis question. I want your opinion on that one.
Oh, I got to go with Zach Wilson in that one. I can't. I mean, Malik Willis. Here's the thing. The last time that Willis started, he threw like 11 times that game. They're going to do that. They're going to give that kind of crazy volume to Derrick Henry again. But again, they lost 2 offensive linemen.
Yeah.
Center and the right guard are both out. That's a problem on a one that's been beaten up before. So I kind of worry about all things Tennessee now. I was ready to lock button in Derrick Henry into my DFS lineups, and then all of a sudden it was I saw the report. I was like, I don't know if I could do that now.
Oh man, crazy.
Oh man is right. You're right. Oh man. Crazy.
All right, let's build.
All right, let me find a single entry contest here, so I don't have to. Oh come on, man! Why are you doing this to me? Just this page that pops up, so annoying, so annoying. Single entry. Oh yeah. Here we go. Here's a good donkey contest for me to enter.
All right.
All right, should I do that? I'll just do the donkey contest. All right. Where are you going? Who are you using?
So I'm going 2 directions. I truly believe in Zonovan Knight tonight. Yeah. And I think he would be a fine captain option. But then at the same time, I mean, I feel like you're getting at least 10 fantasy points out of either defense. And I think that's a fine captain option as well. The only problem that I've found with the defenses in the captain position is that there's so much salary left over. You're leaving a lot of stuff on the table because you're not paying up for a whole bunch.
No, I agree.
So you're accepting that this is you're choosing, and you're leaving a bunch of salary on the table. But I can go with. All right, so I can go with Zonovan Knight in the captain spot. And I like Evan Ingram as well. I think that he's the most solid receiving option in this game. Maybe on both sides, but for sure for Jacksonville.
Okay. I can't argue against it. And I mean, listen, and he's got a decent floor too. That's the thing is his usage rate right now. That even, you know what? I mean, in a game that's in the rain like this, if he gets you 4 catches for 48 yards, still giving you, a solid 8.8 points there or 8.4 points, and you're locked in. You're okay. It's not the worst in the world.
And then defenses.
So I'm with you there. Both defenses. I'm in on that.
I can find them.
I am in on that.
They're so cheap. They're so cheap.
They are so cheap.
So I'm left with an average of $12K per player. Obviously, we're not going to use all that. So I guess, at that point, it kind of comes down to, I'm not going the direction of the kickers. I don't want to go there.
Nope.
And
me neither.
It comes down to me deciding, do I believe that Trevor Lawrence is going to run enough to get decent fantasy points?
Ooh.
And Zach Wilson can do the same, technically.
Yeah.
So,
are you gonna throw both QBs in there?
No, it's a possibility. It's weird, but they both have rushing upside, and technically speaking, it could go that direction. But do you also want to include Travis Etienne? Because we know that this is going to be a game that could be fought on the ground. It could go either way. We could have Trevor Lawrence aggressively passing through the air despite the rain, or we could have, the Jags just deciding that we're going to run the ball. And he's been getting good volume It's not been highly productive from a fantasy perspective, but the volume has been there. So I trust that he can get a good 20 carries in this game. So I feel like I need to include Travis Etienne.
Okay. Which leaves you with a boatload of money.
You will never achieve.
For your last
you will
player.
never achieve.
Pick of the litter.
Yes.
Right? Pick of the litter here. I'm gonna put in your whole lineup, and then I'm gonna lock in Garrett Wilson. I'm not even gonna go with a QB.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say Garrett Wilson.
I still think I want to maybe try.
You want to do Trevor Lawrence?
Trevor.
Clemson homer.
This is an aggressive.
Clemson
this is an aggressive
homer.
Jags lineup that we've got here.
It's aggressive if you use Trevor Lawrence there. Etienne, Engram. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going with Garrett Wilson. I'm clicking submit.
I like it.
And so there really, you go. I just peed all over $5.
I mean, essentially, you can put anybody in the captain's position. It's whatever you want. There's no cost issue in this game. You can put anybody and everybody into the captain's position, and it's not going to matter. You're picking and choosing who you want to play.
Yeah. Grotesque. Yeah. Grotesque. We got a couple more questions in Discord, so we got a couple of minutes here. So Home Run says he's playing in the second week of the semis and winning big. I know how Howard likes to look ahead. Yeah. I have Dak play a 2-week finals. I have Dak and worried that he may sit for resting purposes. Should I get Minshew and have on the bench? Not many QBs out there in this league. The problem that I have is that do we know that Jalen Hurts is not going to play next week?
Yeah.
So you could be adding Minshew. I don't know who you're dropping to add Minshew, but do we even know if Minshew's going to be the starting quarterback or if he's even going to see any playing time?
I mean, if you're dropping someone that is of zero consequence, sure, but be prepared. You might be dropping Minshew to go with Cooper Rush because I agree. I wonder if they're going to let Jalen sit this game, but they really want him. I know they want him to win the MVP. And I feel like they want him to go out with a bang. I don't know if I can see him sitting next week as well. I don't know if I can see that.
I don't either.
So that's the only thing is you can do it, but I get a feeling that you're going to have to pick up another quarterback if you run into a Dak sitting issue, which is possible. Which is why I do not like those Week 18 finals because they hurt.
They do. Caliber Reigns, tight end question, Komet or Engram, keep in mind he's got Christian Kirk and Etienne also on the team.
Yeah, you might want to.
Yeah, I'm not full stacking Jags here.
Look, I will full stack Jags on any other Sunday, or Saturday or Thursday. I will do it on any other Thursday. But not this one. Yeah, I would go ahead and just kind of diversify there with Komet because that's a shame. Yeah. Any other time, go with it. But
yeah, would have been okay with this a couple weeks ago. This week, not so much. Bosogs BDO says needs 2 for a full point PPR. Zach Moss, Bam Knight, Isaiah Pacheco, Rashad White.
This is interesting. Okay, need 2. I want to go ahead. I'm sticking with my guns that I am in on Zonovan Knight. I'm sticking with my guns on that one. So
I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
And then it gets interesting between the others. Do we want to go with Rashad White? I mean, Pacheco, hey, it's fine. We are talking PPR. So that makes me lean towards Rashad White. If it was half, I could lean towards Pacheco. But I'm still thinking that McKinnon is going to be that guy. I think it's sticking. I think we just need to accept that end of season Chiefs is Jerick McKinnon. They get to the end and they're like, all right, we gave everybody else a shot to prove it. Now we're going with the one that we love in our hearts. And they love Jerick McKinnon.
And he's been producing. Like, I mean, you can't argue against what's going on. I mean, it's this, that the funny thing is like McKinnon is that perfect pass catching back for Andy Reid. Like, he loves having his quarterback dump it off to the running back the way they do, and they rip up these big chunk yardage there. So yeah, I'm with you there. So Zonovan Knight, Rashad White. Knight. White Knight. And then finally, A Powers 93 says, full point PPR need one. Zonovan Knight, Brandon Cooks, Zay Jones, Devin Singletary. Oh, it's Rob in North Carolina. What's up, Rob? Happy holidays to you there, buddy. I like Rob. Rob's a good dude. I'm saying Zonovan Knight here.
Yeah, I think so too.
All right. Good stuff.
Yes, good stuff. These are all interesting questions because it's a weird week where you got to say no to guys that you genuinely do like. But unfortunately, we've just got a lot of weather concerns. Like, we got a couple minutes here. Is there anybody other than like Nick Chubb that you're starting in that Cleveland New Orleans game?
Well, my teams are all destroyed.
Yes.
You've heard who's on my team. So that's the only team I have left. It's the only team I have left. And so no, I don't. Like I said, I would use Taysom Hill as a tight end. I think that's definitely a playable move this week because of that situation. And yeah, I think that's probably it. Kamara, Chubb, Taysom Hill. I wouldn't start anybody else from that game.
Yeah.
Nope. Nobody.
Any more YouTube questions before we sign off?
No, we're good. Let's take a couple minutes for ourselves here. Oh wait, we do. Never mind.
Sorry.
For crying out loud. All right, here you go. Johnny D says he's stuck with a tight end choice. Njoku or Conklin?
Njoku.
I don't know how you start Njoku in the polar vortex.
Well, true. All right, I guess you have to go with Conklin. I don't know.
Conklin.
Yeah.
Listen, he usually gets more. He plays more snaps, and he usually sees more targets. I think the Uzama thing last week was just more fluky matchup kind of stuff. I don't think
it's
it was
happened before.
Anything realistic here.
That makes sense.
Pick two. Oh, this is a tough one here. Pick two: Mixon, McKinnon, or Mike Williams.
I'm still going with Mixon, although he has been painfully average since that big boom game. But I'd still go with Mixon, and then Mike Williams. Sorry, McKinnon.
Mixon and Williams. Yep. I'm with you. I thought you were going to go with McKinnon again, but you didn't. You're so sneaky, Tara. Jacob Ander wants to know, are we feeling comfortable with Zay Jones in PPR? Other options I have on my bench, waivers, are Cortland Sutton, Hollywood Brown, Jacoby Myers, Darius Slayton, and Marquise Goodwin.
I'm more comfortable with Goodwin. Now, granted, you hate to drop Zay Jones because of this one situation because championship opportunity as well. So that's a tough one right there. I would prefer to start Goodwin if you can drop somebody else other than Zay Jones. Yeah. I don't mind Slayton as well.
I was going to say I like Slayton also. Slayton and Goodwin are the two who I would be choosing between. And if that means dropping Jacoby Myers or Hollywood Brown or Sutton, I don't care about that either. I would probably drop Jacoby. I can't imagine Bill Belichick calls his number at all.
Oh my gosh. What a poor, he's disappeared into nothing. Unfortunately.
It's terrible. Poor guy.
All right.
Poor guy. You know, what's kind of funny is that like Andrew Siciliano from Red Zone was on the show, and he was like, everybody's crapping all over Jacoby Myers, What was Ramondre Stevenson doing, turning around and lateraling the football in the first place?
Yeah, that one was bad. Oh my gosh! If you get a chance to go on, TikTok, Travis Kelce and Travis and Jason Kelce have an account for their podcast, and they did the most hilarious video on that lateral. So funny, so funny.
Oh,
because that was such a weird situation.
Is it on the YouTubes?
It might be. They said it looked like Mac Jones was trying to take a charge.
He was trying to take a charge. That's actually kind of funny. He just got, just abused.
He's got poster eyes. Poor thing. Not your fault, Mac Jones.
All right, final question before we scooch on out of here. We'll let Michael Wilson here get his question in. Mark Andrews or Dallas Goedert?
I would probably prefer to go with Dallas Goedert, honestly.
There you go. There you go. And now we're over our time here. Now you owe me 2 minutes out of my life.
I always
here,
do this.
Tara. Thanks
I
a lot.
always do this. All right. I will.
Tera Roberts, everybody.
We'll get it back next week.
It's Tera time.
We'll get it back next week.
It's Tera time.
All right, guys.
Tera time.
Yes. Thank you so much. Of course, we'll be back here next week, Thursday night pregame show again. It has been a fantastic season. Good luck to everyone with your lineups. Good luck to your DFS lineups tonight. Go enjoy the game. Hopefully this is a mid-rainy, splashy offense, defense, kind of fantastic game that benefits every single one of us. So good luck, everyone. For Howard, I'm Tara.